Good morning. Morning. Hello. Hi there. How's it going? Good morning on this beautiful Tuesday, the 9th. Good morning, Kathy. Thank you all for waving. It's always so nice to see all of you out there. As usual, broadcasting both on Instagram and Facebook, so we'll give it just a second for people to join in. Hello on Facebook if anyone's out there. Not getting any comments over there. Hello, Lisa. How are ya? We have a great topic today, another fun one. We're going to talk about aging. What everyone wants to talk about, right? Or anti-aging, or however you want to look at it. So just waiting on Facebook. I'll wait a couple more seconds here and then we'll dive in. So good morning to everyone that's just joining us. Another beautiful day here in Arizona, lots of wind, which is rare for this time of year. Normally it's just stifling and very still and hot. And now we've got this cool breeze coming through, and I actually sat outside this morning, it wasn't hot. So I'm gonna take full advantage of today, that's for certain. All right, so to those of you that have never met me, I'm Dr. Trisha Pingel, and this is your morning checkup. Hi, Erin. And this morning we're going to talk about anti-aging or aging more from an internal perspective, how we age, why we age, and lifestyle things that you can do to actually slow aging. Now, when I talk about aging, we're not simply talking about wrinkles and gray hair. We're also talking about disease development because if your body is aging faster than it should, you're more prone to degenerative diseases. So by addressing both the little things that we worry about, like wrinkles and gray hair, we're also looking at, ways to improve our health overall. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to be talking a little bit about genetics because we're going to be talking about something called a telomere, which maybe you've heard about or maybe you haven't. So kind of a fun topic this morning. And I do have an article about this as well with links to all the research and stuff we're going to discuss today. So I'm Dr. Trisha Pingel, and let's dive in. I think most of us are aware of aging. I think as we all get older and we start to see changes in our body, we go, God, are we falling apart? I think one of the most popular concerns that I get have to do with memory and focus and brain fog and small weight gain and, wrinkles, gray hair, those types of things. And I think we're very quick here on the Western side to jump to artificial measures to stay looking young. Okay, so that's one option. I do have somewhat of a respect for the Eastern philosophy that the older you get, the wiser you get, and a little bit more respect for aging, which I think we could definitely, mindful-wise, take impact here on the Western side a bit more. But it's also important to recognize that when people feel good, they feel like they look good, they feel good, they stand a little bit taller. So if we can find ways to slow the aging process through lifestyle measures, why not? Right? And I do think that the reason why there's a little bit of a different philosophy in the Eastern medicine side is that they do a lot of these measures, these lifestyle measures. And so when they age, they're not aging as rapidly as we really are here in the Western side. So let's talk a little bit about these secrets, I suppose, that you can learn a little bit more about how to slow your aging. So, believe it or not, the aging process is actually controlled by something called a telomere. Ever heard of a telomere? So a telomere basically is like this little tiny protein chain that sits at the tip of your DNA strand. Okay, so your DNA strand's all wound up, and then if you could think like a shoelace, it has that little plastic cap on the top that keeps it from unraveling. That's basically what a telomere is. Okay, and the longer the telomere, it's linked to slower aging and longer life. So the longer that plastic on the string, the slower you're going to age. Now, everyone starts with a different length telomere. Some of us are born with long telomeres, some are born with shorter telomeres. What really matters is how fast it unravels, okay? And as it unravels, there's more health conditions. And that's been well studied. It's pretty cool, the genetic studies and the epigenetic studies in regards to telomeres. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and ways that you can slow the deterioration of your telomeres. Cool, right? And this is stuff you can do at home. Even better. So quite a lot of research on this. In fact, there was a molecular biologist, Elizabeth Blackburn, who received a Nobel Prize for her research on telomeres. And what she was finding is that telomeres are directly impacted by your body's stress. So those of you that show up here with me every day know that I really do truly believe that stress is at the root cause of many of our conditions here in America and throughout the world. We overstress ourselves. We put our body under too much stress, and then we wonder why we get sick, right? We're going to get sick if we're under stress, and the telomeres are no exception to that. In fact, oxidative stress and lifestyle stress has been proven in research to shorten telomeres. Shortened telomeres have been linked to poor skin health, wrinkles, development of chronic disease, particularly inflammatory diseases, cancers, diabetes, heart disease, all of those fun things. And she was working on and published a book about ways that you can lengthen or prevent shortening of your telomeres with particular lifestyle aspects. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So what I want to talk about first, though, before I dive into what you can do, I want to talk about aging in general and how and why our cells age, so that you can kind of understand why these types of lifestyle changes would actually help. I think as a physician, so often we give the solution and then we never give the in-between as to why. Why do we care? So I want to talk a little bit about why. Why do we age? How do we age? A little bit more about these telomeres and the studies associated with these telomeres. Cool? Are you excited? Does anyone find this topic interesting? It's a little bit different than what I normally do, right? You know, I gotta switch it up every so often. I did a genetic test once, many years ago, side note, and it actually looked at the length of my telomeres. And my telomeres are quite long, which is great, but I have to keep them that way, okay? So for example, my mom also in the genetic test had very long telomeres, but she also had cancer. And her telomeres likely rapidly shortened because she is no longer with us, and she ended up dying fairly young. So, you know, once you find out what your genetic predisposition is, you have to keep it, right? So hopefully I will keep mine with all the lifestyle measures that I'm implementing. So good. I'm glad you guys like the topic. That's awesome. Good. I do too. I think it's so fascinating. I think it's so interesting. First of all, the perception that we put on aging, we need to kind of chill out about. I mean, there is some wisdom in aging, but also looking at it just as a general health perspective and using this data to better our health, I think is a nice, promising area of research. So, good news. Your lifestyle choices can directly impact your DNA and how your cells age. Okay, so what you do with your life will absolutely make a difference. So for any of you that kind of go back and forth, can't stick with the diet, can't stick with an exercise plan, you know, and you don't really think, this will impact your life long term, and it has been proven. So there is a whole discipline called epigenetics, and maybe some of you have dived into it. It's pretty fascinating, but it's basically an idea that your lifestyle is what turns certain genes on and off. Now, you see this quite a bit in autoimmunity. People may have a gene for lupus or a gene for rheumatoid arthritis, but it doesn't turn on until they have a major stressor, or they have some sort of toxin, or they have some sort of virus, and boom, clicks it on, and there you go. But in the same right, you can also turn it back off. So it's this idea that genetics are not absolute. Just like I just gave you an example, you know, my mom had very long telomeres, but she died of cancer very young. But she also was exposed to a lot of toxins, and there was a lot of lifestyle aspects there that may have shortened those telomeres faster than they should have due to epigenetics. So always something to consider. Studies have shown that certain lifestyle factors directly impact the length of your telomeres, okay? In 2014, there was a study on over 4,500 women, and they found that the women that adhered to a Mediterranean diet, which is a diet that has a lot more omega-3s, fresh fish, tons of vegetables, they had longer telomeres than those that didn't adhere to a Mediterranean diet. So that showed directly that diet plays a huge role in your telomeres and therefore your aging process. Okay, so I always talk about diet, right? I talk about if there's anything that you can do, if you're just not sure what to do, the first thing that's within everyone's power is to clean up their diet. Okay, and you just have to learn how to do it. How do you do that? There's lots of different ways you can do it. I mean, I have a program, a 30-day program that has recipes. It has, how to clean up your diet, how to clean out your pantry, those types of things. And there's many programs like that out there as well. I mean, there's a lot of us out there that are really trying to teach people how to eat real food. And I think even if you said, okay, I'm only going to do one thing, start with that and then add in the exercise, then you can add in supplements, nutrients, and everything. But diet does make a huge difference, and particularly in aging. So good to know. The Mediterranean diet, I believe, would be the one that you would follow in that respect because of the high dose of omega-3 fatty acids, which we are going to come back to. Good morning over there on Facebook. Many of you chiming in now. Nice to see you. All right. Now, number 2 has to do with sleep. Now, I'm a big proponent of getting at least 8 hours of sleep. I need that for my own body. Now, not everybody does. And the research doesn't always agree with me here, okay? I think quality of sleep needs to be considered in addition to quantity, but I really love at least 8 hours of sleep. However, when it comes to your telomeres, the research says you really only need 7. All right, research. I'm still gonna stick with my 8, but okay, so in 2012, the researchers studied the sleep habits of 434 senior men and women, and compared it to their telomere length, okay? And they found that the men who reported sleeping at least 7 hours a night had telomeres that were on average 6% longer than those that didn't. Now, interestingly, in that particular study, there was no difference in women between 7 hours or less than 7 hours. However, in 2019, they went back and they studied over 3,000 postmenopausal women and found that for each additional daily hour of sleep beyond 5 hours, the women would experience a lengthened telomeres. Okay, so for me, whether it's 7 hours, whether it's 8 hours, there is definite benefit to sleep on the length of your telomeres. And I've done lives on sleep before, and we've talked about how poor sleep and stress impacts sleep and how poor sleep causes diseases. Very true. That's where we repair. We repair our cells during our sleep. We have to sleep. If you're not sleeping, you're not repairing. If you're not repairing, your body's under stress. If your body's under stress, you're aging faster. Aging faster, you have more disease. Follow me there, folks? Yeah? All right. Now, on to exercise. So obviously, all of us get hit over the head with, diet, exercise, I'll help with prevention of disease. And they're right. However, excessive exercise, like really hardcore, hard-hitting exercise has definitely not been linked to increasing telomere length. Telomere length is actually better increased with things like walking, jogging, swimming, definitely with yoga and Tai Chi. I'll come back to that in a minute. You can actually lengthen telomeres with that. But the whole point is you need to be metabolically moving, doing something, okay, and eating a well-rounded diet. All of those have been proven to prevent the shortening of telomeres. And let's see, there was a study in 2018 that actually said the telomeres would lengthen with speed walking, jogging, and swimming. Cool. Think I'll hop in the pool today. But we'll talk more about exercise in a second, okay? And about Tai Chi, and we'll talk about yoga, things like that. So, stress. Good old stress. Bottom line, guys, stress causes disease. Bottom line. Acute stress, being stressed quickly, getting through it and moving forward, fine. Chronic stress, always having cortisol release, always running from a bear, always pushing yourself too far and not allowing your body to rest will actually impact your telomere length, okay? So lifestyle-related stress causes the telomeres to get shorter. This puts you at a higher risk of disease, higher risk of health concerns, and a shorter lifespan. okay? Numerous studies have shown that aging is associated with higher baseline cortisol levels. Now, I've talked about cortisol in the past. I've talked about how when you're running from a bear, you're releasing cortisol, and how when you're continuing to run from a bear, you're releasing cortisol on a regular basis. So your baseline cortisol levels are higher. Baseline cortisol levels being higher is linked to higher aging process. Okay. Animal studies also supported the idea that stress would lead to cognitive defects. Now, I talked about in another live how elevated cortisol will actually impact the brain, shrinks the hippocampus, causes problems in the prefrontal cortex, doesn't allow you to process information effectively, causes a lot of brain fog, memory lapses, and a lot of these symptoms are related, what people would associate with aging. Someone's asking what I'm talking about. I'm talking about telomeres. Once I'm done with this, go back and watch the replay and you'll get it from the beginning and we'll catch you up, okay? Thanks for your question. So very, very important to manage this stress. Now, if you go back to some of my other lives or some of my articles at drpingel.com, you'll see that I give a ton of information on how to access or stimulate vagal tone, or how to just calm and access the parasympathetic system. Why? Because we can't continue under regular stress, okay? It causes disease, okay? So check that out. So lastly, when we're talking about anti-aging and ways that we age, the last little surprising truth is that aging at an accelerated pace is actually linked to further disease development, particularly those inflammatory conditions. So when you look at cancer, diabetes, heart disease, those are linked to aging faster, links to those diseases. There was a study they did in 2019 on young adults that showed this link between accelerating aging and disease development. And the researchers looked at people with a particular genetic disorder, and then looked at their increased risk for developing disease earlier in life. And they found that this was particular genetic disease had shorter telomeres. The ones with shorter telomeres had a higher risk of being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cognitive decline earlier in life. Like I said earlier, I think one of the biggest concerns when you start to age is memory loss. People worry a lot about memory loss and cognitive decline, and understandably, very, very scary. And I think stress causes memory loss directly, but then if it's also causing shortening of telomeres, you're just compounding the possible outcome. So we got to keep an eye on that. All right, so what do we do? So we talked about telomeres, we talked about what they are, we talked about some of the ways that you age and how that affects telomeres. So how do we keep the telomeres from shortening, or how do we potentially lengthen them? That's what you all want to know, right? That's why you're here. Well, one of the most studied and one of the best things that you can do, in my opinion, omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you can find omega-3 fatty acids in lots of foods. My favorite happens to be the avocado, walnuts as well. Omega-3 fatty acids have actually been shown to reduce telomere shortening. So once again, to repeat, you're born with a certain telomere length. That's okay if they're born a little bit shorter, but those people that have shorter telomeres have to slow the shortening process. Those with longer telomeres should slow it as well, although they'll take a little bit longer. So if we can slow the rate of telomere shortening by having a good diet full of omega-3s, let's do it, right? Very easy. Avocados is one of my favorite. I have a question on telomere. Yes, it is. You have it spelled correctly. Telomere, Telomere. Very good. So anyway, avocados are one of my favorite sources of omega-3 fatty acids. I have a lot of recipes on my website regarding avocados. I love them. My kids eat them. I eat them. I eat at least an avocado a day, right? But there's a couple reasons why the avocado would be a good recommendation. Number one, the omega-3 fatty acids. Number two, the antioxidants. Any food with antioxidants is going to help with telomere length, okay? So researchers found that women who consumed diets that lacked antioxidant-rich foods, such as avocados, berries, they had shorter telomeres and also a higher risk of developing breast cancer. Okay? And the women who consumed a diet rich in antioxidants had the opposite. They had longer telomeres and less likely risk of developing breast cancer. So, ladies, eat up those antioxidants. Yes? Yes. All right. Now, also, I wanted to add that, any type of these omega-3 fatty acids can also combine with other nutrients, right? We talked about almonds yesterday and how almonds have fatty acids, but also have good sources of proteins, also have lots of minerals. So when you're looking at plants and diets, you can actually have mega bang for your buck. For example, the avocado has antioxidants and fatty acids. A walnut has antioxidants, fatty acids, minerals, and a nice source of protein. They have shown that our most common source of protein here, particularly in America, are processed meats. Ugh. Right? But processed meats have been shown to shorten your telomeres. Not to mention, they're also linked to a lot of cancer development, in particular colon cancer. So watch those processed meats. Get your protein from somewhere else, especially somewhere that may have some omega-3 fatty acids. There are direct impact of omega-3 fatty acids on the brain as well, as far as on depression, anxiety, memory loss, those types of things. So eat an avocado today. That's your assignment. Number 2, green tea. So I come here every morning with my little coffee. This morning it's a wake-up mug. Piggy woke me up a little bit early this morning by barking at something outside the door that wasn't there, which is always fun. But green tea. So green tea does not contain as much caffeine as coffee, okay, which is good, but it can provide a little bit of an energy boost. But more so, it has a huge anti-aging benefit. Why? Well, first of all, it has been shown to help lower your blood pressure. It's been shown in many studies in regards to cancer and preventing or improving cancer symptoms. It's been shown to help the immune system. But green tea contains a polyphenol that's called EGCG, and that's been known to promote skin cell rejuvenation. So that's why you'll see in a lot of topical products, you'll see a lot of green tea added because it helps regenerate the skin, right? But same internally, it helps regenerate those cells, okay? So scientists found that supplementing with green tea extract for 8 weeks significantly increased the length of the telomeres in women between the ages 27 and 48. Significantly increased the length of telomeres. Okay? In fact, now get this, the telomeres were roughly twice as long as they were before the study. Whoa, twice as long. Yeah, green tea can be good. Now, topically, we just talked about maybe using green tea, some green tea stuff topically. There is another antioxidant that's used topically that actually has some pretty good research on wrinkles and skin regeneration. So for those of you that are looking for something externally to do, this would be a good suggestion for you. And it is noni juice. You ever heard of noni juice? Well, it's made for thousands of years as a beauty product by the Polynesians, okay? And it's known to moisturize the skin, and it's mostly used topically. I tried to find some research on internal use. I'm sure probably there is some. There wasn't a ton that was really enough for me to be able to present to you today, but the stuff topically, unbelievable. So in 2012, there was a 6-week clinical trial that was conducted on 49 women, and they were ages 38 to 55, and they used noni juice topically on the skin. More than 90% of the participants saw visible skin improvement, okay? Additionally, daily applications resulted in significant reductions in fine lines and wrinkles, as well as improvements in skin elasticity and firmness. So this goes back to, yes, noni juice. So this goes back to in the beginning where I said, I do love the Eastern philosophy and respect the Eastern philosophy of aging gracefully and respecting your elders and not being afraid of wrinkles. But then at the other time, you also want to feel good. You want to feel bright. You want to glow. You want to present yourself to the world in a way. So having things that you can do topically that help just kind of put a little bit of a glow to your skin is never a bad thing. Now, noni fruit has actually been shown to enhance the expression of DNA repair genes in certain studies. So that's meaning that it's helping repair damaged DNA, which is a good thing to know, especially with everything we've just talked about with epigenetics and how toxins and viruses and all these things can change your DNA. Great to know what will also repair it. Okay, so yeah, that was noni juice, N-O-N-I. You got it. I'm pretty sure you can buy that and drink it internally as well. I just didn't find any fantastic studies on that. Might still be in process. Great stuff on the skin though. So lastly, I want to come back to this concept of yoga as a way to lengthen telomeres. So I told you earlier that exercise played a huge role in one, reducing stress, two, increasing telomeres. In particular, was it jogging, swimming, and walking, or speed walking? But yoga and meditation have actually been shown to slow aging at the cellular level, okay? So after 12 weeks, participants saw not only lowered levels of DNA damage, lower cortisol, and lower inflammatory markers, but they also experienced increased levels of total antioxidant capacity and endorphin levels, and their telomeres were longer. Okay, so if you're not familiar with yoga or meditation, it's a practice, guys. Check out drpingel.com. See what you can find there. I think especially with all of the stuff going on and all the stress, and there's a lot of things being thrown around and nobody really knows what to believe, and we can really get ourselves worked up in a tizzy. And I think one of the most important things to remember now is that you have full control over how you interpret stress. And the way that you interpret stress will indeed impact how you age, how you look, and your disease development. So it's really important to kind of stay on top of that and really look within yourself to find ways to calm yourself down. I've had a bunch of friends this week that have said, hey, I got rid of my Facebook account, or I'm not reading this anymore, I'm done, I need a break, I need to calm down. And you know what? Sometimes you have to do things for yourself that just help you access that calmer aspect, because these studies, as I've talked about today, stress causes aging. Aging causes disease. We are covered in disease right now. We don't need more disease, right? So try to find ways to take care of yourself today. Maybe eat an avocado, log off for a while, do some yoga, some stretching, some meditation. And just so you know, I've had a couple people write me just in the last 2 weeks. I've actually had quite a few of you write me emails asking about how you can start. How can you, get your diet under control? How can you learn how to meditate? How can you really start to take assessment of your stress and do something about it? And I do have a program on this. And I know I don't talk about it or boast it out there a lot, but I do. And you can find it linked from drpingel.com. It's also at totalhealthturnaround.com. But it's just kind of a 30-day take assessment, learn how to manage stress better, clean up your diet, do proper exercise, learn what to ask your doctor. I know many of you are writing from other states and from other countries wondering how you can get more information. So check that out. Maybe it would be helpful to you. I don't know. Do you need a supplement? A supplement for aging? I mean, everyone's a little bit different, right? Everyone has different backgrounds. Everyone has different conditions. So the real key is to have well-rounded nutrition base. So like for me, being pretty much vegan, I mean, I'll eat honey and things like that every so often, but for the most part I'm plant-based. So I have to make sure that I'm getting enough plant-based protein. I have to make sure that I'm getting enough B vitamins in my diet, so I supplement them. Other people may be different. They may be getting a ton of protein but not enough minerals or not enough fats. So you kind of supplement based on what's needed. I will say though, antioxidants always going to help out. Anything that's an antioxidant is going to help out. Green tea extract, as we talked about, also can be very helpful. It can also be very helpful in hormone conditions. So there's a lot out there, but they're all individualized. The first step is to clean up your diet, get your exercise going, take care of yourself, okay? And then you customize based from there. Nobody wants to be on supplements for the rest of their life. Sometimes we are. I know there's many supplements I'll take for the rest of my life because I feel better on them. So anyway, if you missed this from the beginning, I will post it at IGTV. I will repost it on Facebook. I have an article at drpingel.com on all of this. So check it out. Thank you guys. This was kind of a fun topic today. I love talking about something a little bit different. So I will go through and try to answer all your comments. Thank you again for being here. I will be here tomorrow around the same time with a different topic. So you guys have a fantastic day. I am Dr. Tricia Pingel, and I'm going to sign off the morning checkup, and I'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.